Conway Hall, please welcome to the stage, Kill James Bond.
Good evening. Hello and welcome to another live episode of Kill James Bond.
Hello.
I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne.
Hey!
And Devon.
And I'm joined by my friend November. Singular friend there. That was very rude of me.
Yeah, thank you for that. And we've gathered you all here today so that you can enjoy a retelling of 2011's Johnny English Reborn. Now...
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Just in case that didn't really jive with what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about a movie we've seen.
If you, sort of asking, are the chains really necessary to talk
Yes.
about Johnny
Yes.
English Reborn? And I
Makes
have
it
to
better.
explain, no, this is a part of my, power,
No,
you know.
so we can...
Oh, okay, sure. Maybe after, if you're doing anything like... Anyway, so some of you were here last night for Johnny English. I hope to see some of you again tomorrow night for Johnny English Strikes Again.
If you've recently been cursed by a witch,
Yeah.
you have to see all 3 Johnny English films.
Some of you are watching on the live stream. Thank you for that. You can
Hello.
still buy tickets for night 3. You can still buy tickets for the live stream for night 3, and we hope to see you then. However, we developed a theory last night, right, about Johnny English, right, which is when Bond is weak, English is strong.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
He's quite like Melkor in that regard. Like when the Valar are weak, he creeps back into the heart of Middle-earth.
Yeah. And it's kind of like a semi-official relationship where when Bond is having an off year, then you get a Johnny English movie. It's why they're filming one now. Johnny English 4 is being filmed even as we speak. Dare we imagine?
Just heard someone in the front row go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're going, I knew there was something I had to do. It's Rowan Atkinson getting up and going out.
Tell you one thing about this job, you're never out of work. You know, they don't stop making bad movies.
Well, yeah, because the reason that the Johnny English and the Bond waxes and wanes is because it's the same
yin and
guys who
yang.
write it.
Yeah, Purvis and Wade. And also...
Did they write this
No,
one?
they wrote the first one. This guy was written by the guy... Oh, that jingling is going to get really fucking annoying. Was written by the guy who did Flushed Away, so it only remains for me to
Fuck
say...
off.
You know what it is.
Careful, Whitey.
You should only be able to do one, James Bond parody movie.
What, you get a kind of lifetime limit. You get a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
No, it's like radiation diving. Once you've been exposed to it a certain amount, you can't do it again. I mean, look at what it did to Daniel Craig. He looks so different now.
Yeah, they were outside this. They were like, you've got 6 seconds to be in the movie Johnny English 2. Go.
I serve the United Kingdom.
It's a bunch of people in a ward who were in Johnny English 4. Right now, they think they're fine. But in a week, those guys' their faces are going to be coming off.
It's a shame. It's a
But
real
so this
shame.
came out in 2011, which if you remember was after Quantum of Solace came out. And when Quantum of Solace came out, people were like, oh shit, oh fuck, we fucked it on this one. Bond's a flop, it's over, no one likes Daniel Craig, we have no idea what to do next, right? And it was before Skyfall. And so to kind of take a breather, to build space for themselves, they did Johnny English Reborn. They fucking reconstituted him
back.
as a kind of ablative heat shield for Craig
Yeah,
Fingersuck.
but we're like, well, you thought that Spy movie was bad? What if we made a worse one? Doesn't look so bad now.
It's like fucking negotiating with the Bader Meinhof gang. Oh, you think it can get bad now, you know? One Johnny English movie every decade. So we begin in a smoky room where 2 men are discussing Johnny English. Formerly Sir Johnny English. He's had the title stripped from him.
Formerly King Johnny English.
Yeah.
He got his knighthood stripped from him, and he used to be the king. You can't do that.
If you missed the end of Johnny English 1 last night, he does become king at the end, like
Briefly.
accidentally for like 5 minutes, but he is King Jonathan I.
Yeah. Trades it in for a knighthood, and then they take that off him.
You got King Jonathan I, Sir Johnny English, and now he's just like a serf. They like serfed him for this. They peasantified my
They
boy.
demoted him to like villain, to
Yeah,
peasant.
he's out of here.
He's the only member of the royal family to like ever have any consequences. Well, Charles I, but only modern member of the royal family to have any consequences.
There's
like,
still time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you buy tickets now. But yeah, he has to like prestige being a secret agent, right? Because he has to always be the underdog, and so he has to start from zero. He has to start from peasant.
Yes.
And so these two guys are like, oh, well, you know, we don't trust him anymore after the Mozambique incident, which is absolutely a case of, from the first movie where you just say a place that sounds foreign, you know,
The Bedouin monks of the Almagreb Mountains, the shaman throat warblers of the Guatemalan Delta.
You know, this type of shit.
They don't really do that again in this movie, which thank Christ for that.
Well, he got it out of his system in Mozambique. We don't know what he did in Mozambique, but it was sufficient to get the knighthood stripped from you, which, if you say those words to me, I'm thinking the phrase historical offenses, but...
Yeah, right?
Actually brought in a new law to prevent vexatious prosecutions against Johnny English. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah. He's technically a covert human intelligence source, so nothing he does is illegal, which is grim to consider.
Yeah, because of his enemies being ontologically evil. Nothing Johnny English does is a crime. Apart from whatever he did in Mozambique, they got him demoted to peasant.
Anyway, these two people in the smoky room, they say, well, the guy that we need to make contact with will only speak to Johnny English. Presumably he's some sort of awful masochist.
A boff.
So we got to get him back. Like, where is he? And we cut to Doctor Strange.
You thought the first movie
Fuck
was
this.
racist. This...
Sorry, I just realized it's Sharon Stone, the front row. Sorry.
Cards on the table, right? Of the three... This is
No
the
comment.
most racist one. And it indicates that it's the most racist one because we go, well, where could he be? Yes. My man is in Tibet.
Yeah. He's in Carmitage. He's in Shangri-La.
Yeah.
He's looking like a kind of Poundland Stephen Strange, as you say. He's got the little goatee and everything. He's got the robes and he's like practicing kata and stuff.
He's learning how to use the Mind Stone. He's dragging rocks on his nuts. He's getting kicked in the nuts. It's a lot of nut stuff. It's mostly nuts.
There's a lot of
actually.
CBT, brackets, cock and ball torture in this monastery. Like, I'm not sure if it is a monastery, if he's just gone to like Tibet's finest club for this stuff, but like, genuinely.
There is a joke that I like where they tie a boulder to his nads and he has to pull the boulder with it. And then
I remember when the GOC made me do this.
they do a couple other things and then they come back and they've done it with a larger boulder. So
Yeah.
he's like progressing. It's interesting.
He's jelking.
He is. Up a mountain.
We must
Oh my God,
imagine
he is.
Sisyphus.
Must.
No!
How bad do you have to have pissed off the gods for them to be like, you're going to have to haul this boulder up a mountain for the rest of time by the testicles?
It'll be like an ironic punishment, right? So he's got to have done something nuts related in life. Right?
Yeah.
Something nuts related and extremely hubristic.
Kick Zeus in the nuts, I guess. Like.
But enough about my weekend.
It's like, I've got the biggest nuts in the world, maybe even bigger than Zeus. And the man himself just comes down. It's just like fucking mountainside right now.
Yeah.
And like Prometheus, the nuts grow back every day. Like. God, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
God damn.
But so he's learning kung fu from these monks, right? Which allows me to hit racist noises 1. I have, this time, 3 racist noise drops, which is an improvement on, well, the opposite of an improvement. What's the opposite of an
It's an
improvement?
improvement. We got way more racist noises. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
A decline from 1 when we had only 2 racist drops. But yeah, because he's like sparring with a guy who hits him with this noise. they can't get enough of this shit. Like, from Tomorrow Never Dies on. Like, it's just been the same joke. And he hits him with the gong, right?
Yeah, they try to introduce this weird theme, which is that Johnny English is not physically capable, but he is, like, in a sense, like, wise.
He's like wise.
Yeah.
So, like, when the guy bows to him before the fight, he just, like, kicks him in the head as he's bowing, which James Bond also did in The Man with the Golden Gun, you may remember. They do this later on as well, where, like, there's, like, some obstacle that would normally be overcome by doing spy shit, and Johnny English simply, like, walks around it. So they're trying to make it out that he's clever, and I'm like, the whole point of this character is that he's not.
Not anymore.
He's competent as fuck in this. He's really good at doing spy shit.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like that's not the same guy.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how
The
jokes
first
work.
one was a guy who, like, accidentally sexually assaulted 2 women. Like, that's the level of competence he was operating on, right?
Yeah.
He mistook one of them for a pair of curtains. It's a terrible movie. This one, he's just good at stuff. He's straightforwardly good at stuff, and I have a theory as to why. But so, he completes his, like, joking training or whatever.
Yeah.
And the head of this
That shit's
monastery...
long as hell now. You ready? The
Yeah.
chief monk brings him in and goes, that shit long as fuck, brother. Get out there.
And MI7 needs you back in London, so you have to get back on the next plane, which he does. And they do
Yes.
like a straight intro sequence, a straight title sequence. No Robbie Williams this time, lower budget. And he gets to Toshiba British Intelligence because of privatization.
I like this joke. I thought this was funny.
This is the movie's one joke that hits, right? Is the fucking government's
Roundabout.
privatizing a lot of shit these days. It's almost like there's like a Toshiba British Intelligence,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yeah, I guess.
The joke is that like MI7 has been sold off to Toshiba, and like when he goes in, it's like purple says Toshiba spying for you or something.
Yeah, and when
it's,
when
like,
he
kinda
does,
funny.
you detect the presence of boomer particles for the first time, because previously this had just been racist, right? But then he goes into the reception and it's a bunch of women wearing call center headsets, being like, like a call center. And it's like, the joke here is, oh, those are a thing that exist in 2011, aren't they annoying? And you just kind of go,
Oh, was that a joke?
yeah, no, fully. It's meant to be. It's meant to be that they've got a bunch of people on the phones. It's like they literally do a for MI6 press 1, for MI5 press 2 joke in the third one. It's coming from the same place.
Kind of funny.
Yeah,
Wow, that's wild that the joke is just like call centers exist. That's wild.
it's the most topical humor of 2011. You know. So he goes to meet Pegasus, which is like M, right? And they've replaced the last guy with Gillian Anderson, which is always a good decision.
What are you doing?
My note in this one does say, why does Gillian Anderson look so much like Abigail Thorne? Like, they give her the Abigail Thorne look. It's very good. Big fan.
Thank you.
And she's like, all right. She fully does the Bond, you're a piece of shit thing again.
We hate
second
you.
consecutive time.
She says, well, MI7 is woke and soy and,
I have
and
the
furthermore
drop.
gay.
Yeah, she says this a bit later on. She says,
May I remind you all that MI7's current weapon of choice is dialogue?
its current weapon of choice is dialogue.
Some of the dialogue in this film is a fucking weapon, let me tell you.
But she almost verbatim does the GoldenEye thing. She says the guns, the fast cars, and the chauvinism are all on their way out. And it's like...
She has a yoga ball in her office.
She has a cat. MI7 has been, like, feminized by force.
Yeah.
You know? He does a bit where he, like, knocks the cat out of the window and then mimes that he has the cat, which does allow me this drop.
There's a good pussy. Who's a good pussy?
Just in case you needed a...
Good pussy.
Every woman in a Roger Moore Bond film was named, like, Dr. Pamela.
Good pussy.
But so far, we're just doing, like, Bond pastiche, whatever.
Yes, it's very basic. It's like, it's 2010s, you know, like everything is gritty now, even Johnny English.
It's true.
The Bond pastiche continues because who walks in now?
It's Rosamund Pike,
Yeah.
who you may remember as the
Rosamund.
extremely hot fencing, like, villainess from Die Another Day.
And that had already come out by this point, right?
Yeah, long since. Like,
Yeah.
And, like, this establishes a pattern.
She was Miranda Frost. She was the one who in Die Another Day was like, I'm never going to ever have sex with James Bond. Oh. That's about how long it took.
That's what she does in this fucking movie as well. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm not having sex with Johnny
Will
English.
not have sex with Johnny English.
First of all, easy promise to make, easy promise to keep.
Yeah.
I will never have sex with Johnny English.
Again, I don't think he's like capable. Like, I think he's going to get into some kind of shenanigans before that gets to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't,
Rube
imagine
Goldberg
Rowan
shit.
Atkinson trying to put on a condom as Johnny English. Like, that shit's going to be like
To
on
the
fucking
tune of
ceiling
the
fan. Like,
Hall of the Mountain King going in the background.
yeah.
Some of you watched the movie beforehand.
Fucking chicken on his head or whatever. Yeah.
Like, he's going to slip. Like, my kitchen's going to be on fire. And I'm just like, you know what? Get out. I'm just going to order a takeaway.
But so Rosamund Pike being in this is part of a pipeline, right? In that if you're in a Bond movie, not a very good one, then 5 years later or so, your fate is to be in a Johnny English movie.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because Olga Kurylenko's in the third one, which means Johnny English 4, by the kind of like law of the pipeline, has to have Lea Seydoux in it. It's just got to.
Oh, yeah. I was going to
She's
say,
gonna be off. She's going to be in Malta right now, reacting to Rowan Atkinson, being like, "The way you do this with the condom is very sexy to me." That's how Lea Seydoux sounds.
Lea Seydoux watching the live stream like, oh, God.
It's genuinely terrible. So she's a behavioral psychologist, right? And he's gonna like be monitored by her. And there's also Agent 1, which is a joke they did in the first one, right? Agent 1 is 007, James Bond. He's the like Chad agent.
He's our best spy.
Yeah.
And M tells Johnny English, well, so we have a contact. He's ex-CIA. And he believes that there is a plot to assassinate the Chinese premier. And for some reason, he only wants to talk to you, Johnny. He's a big fan of Blackadder. Would love to meet you.
It's literally the plot of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just copied the thing. And he's like, okay, fine. Well, I'll go to the thing. But first, we have to have a Q scene.
Yes.
Right.
And we do get a Q. This is Tim McInerney, who you may remember as Captain Darling in Blackadder Goes Forth. So
Knew I fucking recognized
yeah,
him.
it's a guy I love to see, to be honest. Like, he's really doing a good job in this one. And Q Branch, basically, it's all the same jokes from the Brosnan things, but like, it doesn't even have like a more comic gloss on it. It's the same. It's indistinguishable. It's Bond with the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah. No, you get like, there's like a sound system and the CD fires out really fast. There's all sorts of
Brosnan
shit.
did that one, for fuck's sake. Very limited number of things. However, the one joke in this scene is that Q has developed the voice-changing travel lozenges. Abby, thank you for borrowing a perfectly ordinary Roundtree's fruit pastel from me. I'm sure this isn't a setup to anything. And so when Johnny English hits the lozenges, he sounds like this.
Crystal clear, Pegasus.
The lozenges that voice train you instantly. Could make a fortune selling this.
You're going to put Claire out of business.
But
Hate that. Every... Fucks me off.
I love that I can get them with it every time. It's really
We all get one voice, but in typical Abigail Thorne, the words, she gets two. I don't know.
she uses dialogue as a weapon. So Tim McInerney is playing
Extravagance. Fuck. All right, cut it so I say that in the... Can you just edit all of that?
We can't. It's live. It's live.
Stop
here we go.
fucking eating them.
We're not
No,
right.
I need another one so I can go back.
We are not going to do a bit where we all chew into the microphone.
Devs?
I don't have a second voice.
Well, I guess you're going to discover one in real time, you know?
Do you need me to dub you?
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
Devon has been voiced by an actor.
I'm gonna take a bite of this and go, wow, they really work. Give me a second here. I'll do it on three. Wow.
Hi, I'm Devon.
Okay.
And that worked very well. Totally convincing.
I love cider and pleaser heels, and I grew up on a farm,
Not true.
and I'm really kind to my friends.
That is true.
That's true, yeah.
That was
Vouch,
true.
vouch.
I know 3 or 4 facts about you as well. Don't ask me now, though.
When you said it like that, it sounded like the Mad Men, like, blackmail threat. Like, would you say I know something about you, Abigail?
What? I missed all of that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, kitten.
It'll be really funny on the recording. Don't worry.
Yeah, Christ, I hope so.
If this is funny, sound off in chat right now. Like, if this is...
Yeah, I hope chat is blowing up, but I have no way of knowing.
We also meet our Bough.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a thing.
Well,
yeah.
Patch
Oh, something about Q, by the way. We didn't mention this.
Uses a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair of his own design, right? Which is pretty much the only way you can get one in England at this point. It has a bunch of little gadgets in it. It's the wheelchair that pulls a gun on you, which again I think might be useful in England for disability rights.
Yeah.
Just
Pulls a gun
sometimes
out,
down there.
It can go at up to 60 miles an hour, and it cuts a little gun out.
Yeah, the joke is that he
Go down.
lost both legs testing a pair of exploding brogues, which is kind of, it gets that laugh pretty
That's about
much.
it, yeah.
Like, if you think the word brogues is funny, then you get a little laugh out of it. But so he shows him the car as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck me to pieces,
So something we
man.
mentioned last night, right? Rowan Atkinson, huge car guy, right? Like, friend of Jeremy Clarkson, guest on Top Gear, Infinity Times, owns a bunch of, like, weird cars. And so consequently, he used, and this is an improbable sentence to say, the clout of Johnny English to make Rolls-Royce put a V16 engine in one of their cars. It's one of one. It's the, like, only one that exists. It exists because of the movie Johnny English Reborn. And it exists for fucking Tim McInerney to go, look at it, it's fucking cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, I guess. Perfect, money well spent.
But it also doesn't really work as a Bond car because, first of all, like, a Rolls-Royce is not a sports car. You can't, like, thrash that round a corner after
no way.
Latifa are firing a gun out of it. It's a fucking Rolls-Royce. Like, handles like a fucking tank. And secondly, like, at least with an Aston Martin, like, okay, you give James Bond the super-duper expensive Aston Martin, and then, like, your dad can get the cheaper version of it on finance if he, like, saved up and really works hard and has a professional job. Like, that, I can get the sort of branding. But, like, you can't afford a Rolls unless you're, like, old money.
Yeah.
Or you've got a lot of
It's-
residuals from Blackadder.
But it's aspirational to him specifically.
Yes.
Like, it's not to, like, the dads that are going to be watching. It's to Rowan Atkinson, who's like, I really want a cool car.
This is the thing. He becomes Johnny English more and more. The shit's taking him over like the symbiote. And this is the point where we really start to see it, is where he's like, yeah, I actually really want like a V16 Rolls Royce.
Like, Boff is the symbiote and they're fused.
Yeah.
Johnny! Get in the rolls, Johnny!
Do a pitfall, Johnny.
Just a really black, gooey Rolls Royce.
Fall over, Johnny. It'll be funny.
Rowan Atkinson's entire jaw detaches and he just, like, eats someone's head.
Okay, I would watch that one, to be fair.
Yeah.
To be clear, Boff, we're referencing Ben Miller, who was the sidekick in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in this movie because he was funnier than Rowan Atkinson.
He's gone.
And so he was like, all right, no, fuck this guy. Get me another guy instead.
Yeah.
And the guy that they get is Daniel fucking Kaluuya. Aged...
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But...
Bear with me.
Ooh.
Aged about, like, 17. And he's like, his deal is junior agent. And
Yes.
so the first thing that Johnny English says when he looks at Daniel Kaluuya, the first non-white person to appear in a Johnny English film, he says, I shit you not.
Well, it'll be good to have somebody to carry the bags.
The shit
Johnny.
that they put in Dr. No.
Johnny.
Yeah, fuck me. Like, it really is that we haven't moved on from Quarrel.
No.
Johnny English is like, fetch my shoes. Like, oh,
Because the
God.
thing is, the racism in Bonds is actually, it's not chronological, it's incremental. So this being the second one, it has to have as much racism as the second Bond movie did.
Oh, wow, I think you've cracked it.
Yeah, they're going to have
Wait,
to...
I've got the scum scores here. Have you fucking, like, algorithmed the scum? Like, that's fucking...
We're back there with whiteboards.
Fucking hell.
I'm locked in on this.
I'm going to get my fucking PhD in Bondology and Bondonomy after this.
36-year-old Australian PhD
There's a
in
Nobel
Bondology.
Prize for media studies in this for
Yeah.
us if we can crack this.
Yeah.
Look at all
Doing
this data.
bondoscopy or something.
But so,
Oh, Miles Jupp is also here.
yeah, Miles Jupp shows up to be like, has anyone seen the lozenges that trans your voice instantly and turn you into sounding like Abigail Thorne? Fine. We love Miles Jupp. We like a Miles Jupp cameo.
One of the big buff things is a big buff thing. Oh, that'd be nice.
Wow, okay.
Oh my God. One of the big buff things is that he calls Johnny English Sir the whole time because he's his power bottom, right?
Yeah.
And they've
A
kept...
power boff, if you will.
Indeed. And they've kept that going with Daniel Kaluuya's character,
Yes.
Tucker. There's no sexual relationship between Tucker and Johnny English.
No.
None at all. He's actually canonically
I don't
20.
blame Daniel Kaluuya for not wanting to act that.
That's fine. I respect it. But he does call Johnny English Sir the whole fucking movie. Yeah, hissing is right.
You have to picture this as like a bowstring that is winding up towards the most racist line in the movie, and that's including the carry the bags line, right? Agent One is here also. That's Dominic West, McNulty from The Wire, doing his actual English accent for once.
I like to see.
And again, they missed the trick. I said this in the first movie, right? That like it's an interesting thing to explore what it's like working with James Bond because he's probably a dick. Instead, in this one at least, he's just kind of like, he's a sleaze. He sexually harasses Gillian Anderson like at work in Q Branch, but like he's like, oh, I love it when you get strict or whatever. But like in general, English likes him, and it's kind of like you see why, because it's like, oh, this guy's just charming, you know. But so they have to go to Macau.
Okay. So first thing you're going to realize, that's a location in Asia. So you're going to get a noise. All right?
Now,
You know what the noise is in your head. You've heard it.
really, really dealer's choice here. Do you want 2 or 3?
Give me 2. Right. Not good.
They go to a casino in Macau. The joke again is that Tucker, Daniel Kaluuya, is like too young to really be in there. And it's like, this is
quite cute.
This is not selling the deference embodied in the kind of boff English relationship to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work to make it like an actual like senpai-kohai relationship. It has to be.
Anytime an older and a younger
And work
Englishman
together.
work
You have
together.
to assume they're in Macau,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
think
yeah.
is Asia, and that's the same.
That's what the soundtrack said.
I reckon.
But so they're trying to meet up with a guy, and they're given the least helpful description ever, which is it's a Chinese guy wearing glasses, which in Macau is probably not very useful. And so English picks the wrong guy, and this is funny, I'm told.
Let me break this one down here. So they walk in. As they're going in, there is an old lady. We don't know her yet. We will get to know her. But
Yeah, but
when
they
she
fully
goes
hit
past-
the...
They get told, right, the contact is, a Chinese fellow wearing spectacles. We see the actual contact. He turns around. You get this again. And then that guy turns back, and a different guy sat next to him turns around, and Johnny, thinks that guy's the contact. But when he turns around, it once again, it's a little racist stinger. I'm like, stop doing that! It does not stop doing that.
No.
I lost count. I started trying to count, but we lose count fast.
It moves quickly.
Did we mention the Mozambique racial music?
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. Okay. Well, while we're on the topic.
Yeah. When M is doing the MI7 is woke and soy now, Johnny, more boomer particles, right? And she's like, I actually never wanted you back because you're not woke and not soy, and because of the incident in Mozambique. And anytime anyone says the word Mozambique, you get this little sting with it.
Mozambique.
Some of the most racist soundtrack work I've ever fucking
Really,
heard.
really fucking bad.
And let me assure you, every single time this comes up, it hits you with the little drums. But so obviously the contact gets killed.
Looking at the credits and it's like original music by David Duke.
Yeah.
In the most kind of throwaway next location thing, which is so insulting, I almost like it. He's been shot in the back of the neck with a like fucking cocktail umbrella, and a poker chip spills out of his hand with next location written on it.
Yeah. There could have been a text.
Yeah, may as well have been.
Yeah.
You may as well not have had the scene, but you know, you've got to assemble a movie out of something.
We didn't have to make this movie, actually.
Yeah.
I could be at home right now.
Just doing a live show for a movie they never made. It's like kind of
That's
0
the one
minutes
they
long.
wanted us to do that about Goncharov, right? When that was kind of funny.
Oh shit, yeah.
And I was like, no.
I'm glad we
we're
didn't
not
do
fucking
that.
doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
I'm imagining some of you out there being like, yeah, it was a real moment in my life when I went to the Kill James Bond Goncharov show. Like, me and my
Sell out.
wife actually met at Goncharov.
I made a friend for life in the queue for Goncharov.
Anyway, next location is a lovely cheap to film in flat.
Nice.
Much nicer than a casino because you don't have to employ background actors. And we meet Fisher, who is the former CIA agent. Also, the same sinister lady who the soundtrack was racist towards in the casino is also here, disguised as a cleaner.
Yeah, and it hits you with the same racist noise again every time she's on.
Yeah.
Every single time that woman appears on screen, it hits the little racist noise.
Fisher, the CIA agent, is Richard Schiff from The West Wing. So, you know, a guy I love to see. Shout out to that guy.
And he says, so in this film, Spectre, Rowan Atkinson, it's nice to meet you. I really enjoyed you in Blackadder. In this film, Spectre is called Vortex, so we're going to be calling it Vortex from now on.
We don't have a lot of money, it's just 3 of us.
Yeah. It's like a start. It's an evil startup. Well, it's a startup.
Yeah, like, this is not an evil organization.
Yeah.
This is post-Quantum Solace and pre-Skyfall, which means they didn't have the rights to the name Spectre in Johnny English yet either. This is Johnny English's Quantum.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's called Vortex. There's only 3 of them. So, you know, they're real up-and-comers, but we think they're really talented. And they have a secret weapon, which is unlocked by 3 keys. And I have one here because I'm in it! Which I was like, ooh, that's a cool twist.
Yeah, never explained or anything. He's just, I guess, just defecting, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He respects Johnny English. He feels bad for Johnny English.
For some reason.
Yeah. There's a good Daniel Kaluuya. All the funny Daniel Kaluuya bits are about how young he is. So he's like calling his mum right now. He's like on the phone with his mum and he sees the like the lady, the cleaner.
Yeah, she's
He's
literally
like,
credited
"Oh, shit,"
as
and she's
like
like,
killer cleaner.
Killer cleaner. He spots killer cleaner and she's like turning her Hoover into a fucking scoped rifle or something. And he's like, oh, mum, I gotta go. And I like that. That is kind of fun.
Yeah, the sort of Henry Hoover into a rifle is fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, she fucking compromises Richard Schiff from The West Wing to a permanent end. Great shame.
So, I mean, they're down to 2 now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 3rd member of Vortex, Matty Lubchansky.
Which one of us would get taken out first by like a kind of like racially problematic
Well,
assassin?
which one of us would try to defect
I'd
first?
obviously be the one who defects first. I'm the bleeding heart
You said that
here.
alarmingly quickly. Why?
I'm not willing to accuse either of you and I want to move on.
Okay.
Because I'm defecting, basically, and I just...
You do love saying very ominous things, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. If anyone wants to interview for a role on Kill James Bond.
You gotta serve at least this much cunt to be here, though.
Dev's chair is going to descend through the stage into a shark pit that we prepared.
Oh yeah, like I fall over backwards into the...
No, it's fine. You'll run back into the green room. We've booby-trapped your cider, you know? It's the one place we knew you would go next.
I might get some in a minute. We'll see.
But so, because Johnny English is an oaf, and again, the movie can't decide whether he is or not, he like runs over, sees this cleaning lady, and it's like, oh, I shall help her like escape the building. And it's only when he sees the like bullet casing in the Hoover that he's like, wait a second, she's evil. And it's like, Johnny English 1 wouldn't have done this, you know? Johnny English 1 would have gotten stuck in the lift doors dick first. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're about to get into one of the most Johnny English wouldn't have done this scenes of all time.
I mean, technically, the movies where he does do this outnumber the one where he doesn't. So really, Johnny English do, in fact, do this.
We do. Johnny English
Johnny-
does what James Bond wouldn't.
Fondant, yeah.
Well, James Bond daren't, possibly.
It's true. Well, he's about to do what James Bond did, because he fully forgets He like doesn't get the key from the guy that just got killed. He like runs out, and then, like a different guy just steals the key and runs away. And he's like, "Fuck, shit, shit."
Oh yeah, I love this because this is a classic thing in loads of spy movies, which was we now introduce a character who is just a stuntman in a suit.
Yes.
It's a stuntman. He doesn't have any lines because he hasn't trained as an actor, but he's a very good stuntman, and he wears a suit, and then he runs away, and it's like, oh, okay, now we're gonna have an action scene.
Yeah. We've hired a guy who can free run. He's going to free run now for the movie.
Yeah, do you remember that bit from Casino Royale where Bond is like chasing a guy who's like doing parkour and flips and shit?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be funny if that again? Right?
No, not really, no.
There's like maybe like one joke in it.
Yeah, this is where they start putting their like real flag down for the like he's wise because he's old, right? Which is cope, first of all.
Yeah.
You can be a dumb cunt and be old, like, and Johnny English is, and he should be. But like, so he's doing the like Mind Palace where he's going back to Tibet, and he just like starts walking around.
He's like visualizing himself with a massive rock tied to his testicles. If I visualized myself like that, I would be in serious fucking trouble.
That would hurt. I don't want to visualize that.
No.
Ooh.
It's sort of a cognito hazard, I
Yeah, he
believe
just
they call
goes
it.
around all the obstacles. That guy's like free running over him, and he like opens the door and walks through.
It's the most like smug cunt thing ever.
Pushing
is
up
what
the
it is.
fucking SMARM score.
Yeah.
Because this guy like does a bunch of flips over like a gap between two buildings, and then he looks back and Johnny English is just like steps over a much narrower gap and is like,
Boomer moments.
yeah.
He chases him onto there's a yacht chase, right?
Oh no! First of all, he says a very unusual word to this man
Yes.
because he gets him at gunpoint on the rooftop, and he goes.
Okay, so I don't have the drop. What fucking word? I'm scared.
Oh yeah, no.
So he gets him at gunpoint on the rooftop, and he says, "Hand over the key, chimp."
So,
I guess
I take it to mean that he's like clambering over shit.
Yeah, I
guess
guess
he's
by
making
analogy
fun
with
of
the chimp's climbing prowess, but like that's
chimps climbing
chimps,
prowess.
the climbing prowess of
Yeah.
a chimp. Yes.
Or he's heard our episodes on Jason Bourne, and he's like, this guy, he doesn't look like he even has a professorship.
This guy's not even got his PhD yet.
36-year-old Australian PhD Professor Chimp. It's very, like, I make fun of the Goncharov thing, and then I do a joke about something that is barely news now, like this week.
But then they do the same joke again, because this guy then backflips off the thing, and he's climbing down the scaffold really dramatically, and Johnny English just takes the lift, and it's like, this joke is funny like twice, and then you do the third time, and it's different. Like it's like set up, and the second thing, and then the third one's different.
Oh,
it's not like just do the same thing 8 times. It's like the rule of 8.
Well, yeah. Let me stop you there because he does it a 4th, 5th, and 6th time. And
As I learned from Wikipedia last night, the essence of humor is predictability. So there's a boat chase at this point.
He gets on a boat with some expats.
Yeah, I kind of like this. He gets on the boat and he like flashes his ID, and they're just like fully on board immediately. They're like,
but
okay, yeah, sure,
These are like Brits with a yacht in like Hong Kong, and I'm like, given that the last movie suggested that India was still part of the Commonwealth with a king, like with the British king.
Oh yeah.
I think they reckon that he's like they've still got Hong Kong.
Yeah, genuinely, it's like the shit. You know the like Netherlands retirement home for people with like dementia, where they build like a whole fake town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that you can continue to like feel normal and interact with people who
Yeah,
are
I
like
love that
disguised
fucking place.
nurses, right? This is like this for the British Empire, you know? The Johnny English movies, you just park your like aged grandfather in front of it and be like, yep, still got Hong Kong. Please stop saying the things to me.
Do you think that's what Britain is?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
We're about to get hit with 3 tranquilizer darts.
Fucking hell.
The Suez Crisis never fucking happened, okay? We're still on top. We've got all of the stuff still.
We're the first 3 British people to see the walls. This is...
Like Ed Harris is gonna come out of the sky and like we're gonna like sail up to the edge and it's not gonna be Calais, it's just gonna be a fucking wall and we're in a dome. The rest of the world is fine. They just domed Britain off.
No!
I
love that Stephen King book.
I just have this one question, right? Which is that if Britain's kind of like a, you know, wish fulfillment fantasy center, why is it so shit?
It's wish fulfillment
supposed
for
to
like
be shit.
6 guys.
Oh, fuck.
If you don't like it, there's no door. You're stuck here.
God. No, this makes perfect sense. Okay, great. Well, first live show to make me dissociate on stage.
It's shit.
That's not true.
Shit.
Austin Powers 3 Gold member.
That is, yeah, no.
You can go back, you can listen, you'll find it. But so...
This is another moment where the movie can't decide if Johnny English is good, because he has a camera that shoots exploding darts, right? And like there's a whole sequence of him like locking on to the boat that he's chasing, and I'm like, oh, obviously he's gonna miss and like hit a seagull or something, right? No, he just does it.
He just does it, yeah.
And then he has a fist fight with this guy and like beats him.
Yeah, he like steps off the boat onto this like floating platform, right? And the guy climbs onto it from having had his boat exploded, and they get into
incredible. Like, give that man a Kronstein rosette first of all.
Oh yeah, we'll get Kronsteins at the end. But like, and they just have a genuine fist fight, and he's good at it. Like he's just too good.
I think that the phrase Rowan Atkinson fight choreography is a sign of a seriously sick society, you know?
But like several goons jump in to reinforce him. Like Johnny English beats up 5 people, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, I installed the Mr. Bean mod for fights in tight spaces.
He's too competent. He's so fucking competent that they teleport Tucker from the boat onto the platform with him, right?
Yeah.
The boat is like 50 feet away, and Tucker was on there doing reaction shots, and he's just on the platform, not wet or anything. So fucking whatever happened there.
Tucker's fucking Nightcrawler.
Entirely so he can do the comedy fight and go like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up, and I get hit once and fall over. And it's like, they have offset the Johnny Englishness onto Tucker because he's being too competent, and they still want a pratfall in the scene, but they can't put it into the actual fight choreography because he's too good.
They should have had him like win by accident, like he trips on his shoelaces and knocks over a ladder or something. Like I'm generating like a better fucking sequence in my head. Like
the thing too with the Daniel Kaluuya, right, is that he gets trapped into more reaction shots in this movie than in Get Out. It's every fucking scene is Rowan Atkinson doing some cool shit and Daniel Kaluuya going like, and it's like, this fucking sucks. Like he's just a good actor. He's a better actor than Rowan Atkinson. Put him in the movie, please, maybe.
Long and short of it is that Johnny English wins and they get the key, right? So they're like, right, we're going to go back to London. We've prevented Vortex from getting the key to their secret weapon. So, I mean, they need all 3. We've got 1. Jobs are good. They're on the flight back. They're sitting in first class, and I'm like, I don't think MI7 pays you to fly first class.
Also, first class used to be a lot more shit than it is now, based on like YouTubers and stuff. These days, they give you like a whole little cabin. They just have like economy seating. It sucks. And so Tucker's like, I need to write the mission report because I'm a nerd and I'm very like straight-laced. And Johnny English is like, nah, it's fine. Just fucking have some champagne. It's chill. And
also, his job was to write the reports in the first one. Like, whatever.
He sexually harasses the flight attendant. I forget what the actual line is, but it works on her as well, which is more wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of rizzes up the flight attendant, and she smiles like indulgently, like she's into it. And I know that's like part of the job, kind of, or at least it was in 2011, but like, Jesus, man.
Then she gets knocked out by a goon and is presumably like, oh, thank God, I don't have to talk to Johnny English anymore.
Which meant that they kind of staged a partial plane hijacking in order to do this next bit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really come up, you know?
Just a little bit of one, you know?
It's an odd plan by the goon as well, because the goon knocks out the air hostess and then takes her uniform.
Yeah.
Not sure where
Agent 47, you know, is much woker now.
Smart.
Yeah, not sure where he places her body, which presumably is now
presumably
undressed.
like, naked, but yeah.
Slightly odd. Anyway, and then goes and is just like, oh, can I take this case with the key in it from you? And like Daniel Kaluuya instantly like spots this person's wearing a name tag with Susan written on it, and Johnny Kaluuya's like, I don't think that's a Susan.
We were all braced.
All 3 of us were like, uh-oh. But when it's 2011 and they haven't invented being transgender yet.
That's exactly it, right? Because Johnny English 4 is going to have a trans joke. It's going to have at least one. Johnny English 2, it would have done.
Know.
But they didn't know.
We hadn't been invented by the government yet. So like, they're just like, no, that's simply a Chinese name, Shushan.
It's like weighing up the two things, like trans joke, racist joke, trans joke,
always zing,
racist joke.
Yeah, the rare like transphobia, racism fake out.
Yeah.
I'm morally
American
neutral on
election.
that, I think.
Yeah, I don't really. Anyway, they get back to London, and of course, Johnny English is doing a big presentation. Like, I have the key, and they're never gonna get their hands on it, and here it is, everybody, and it's fucking empty, right? Great. Rosamund Pike is also here for some reason.
Yeah. We also see the key being handed off to Bern Gorman, one of the faces of all time. Guy I love to see.
Love to see Bern Gorman.
Guy who looks like a nasty little freak is like an actor. It's a type of actor you don't see cast very often as much as you should. Like, they used to cast whole genres with like, this is a guy who looks like a nasty little freak. I picked him up off the street. He's going to be in 50 film noir movies. You know?
Yeah, exactly. We used to be a fucking country.
Yeah.
Germany, I guess.
Now we're down to like one guy who looks like a nasty little freak. I'm sorry if you're listening or watching.
It's great casting.
Hey.
Like, he looks like a villain. It's like a great, cool. Evil henchman, great, got it. But
Yeah,
not like evil henchmen fighting, evil henchmen computers. Right?
Yes.
Really good casting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Important to have a strict division of labor.
This meeting is taking place in Pegasus's house whilst her child is having her birthday party.
I'm so
Because she's
fucking
feminized.
I'm so fucking annoyed at this, right? Because the way that they have her like family and her kids intrude, and she has to like put her kids back in the kind of party room. They didn't pull this shit with M. Right,
No.
like, and M was not a high bar for like a kind of a very deeply written female character, but to be like, oh well, she's like the first female director of Johnny English at MI7. She's woke and she kind of doesn't have work-life separation because, like, even the married to her work thing that they did with M in the Bond movies was a different kind of terrible. This is just like. It just stinks.
It's like, oh, what if the head of MI6 was a woman? I bet she'd take meetings at home and there'd be kids coming in and
It's
and all
boomer
that.
shit. It's boomer shit
It's
again.
boomer shit. She's got a cat. Oh, it's gay and to be a woman.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that has been my experience.
Yeah. That was the original tagline of Kill James Bond, actually.
In many ways, I wasn't gay until I became a woman.
I managed a bit beforehand, but just hits different, you know? Shout out for gay. Big fan of gay.
And now shout out to women. For a fucking second, I thought you weren't gonna do it.
Wait. We can do this
like-
together. Shout out for men. Oh, you failed me. I was expecting nothing.
Hey. There are some cool men.
Yeah.
I know like 4 or 5.
Yeah. So
6 months' time, we do another live show. We do shout out to men, and there's like slightly fewer voices.
Or slightly more, you know. It maintains itself, I think.
that's reasonable. But so at this,
The cleaner is here.
Oh,
you
God.
better believe they hit you with the.
It's a much shorter
Wait
one.
for
It's just
it.
a little.
It gets
That
longer.
specifically, that's the
Fucking
noise
hell.
you get.
It gets longer and worse every time.
Yeah, like, are you editing these?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fucked up because like you already know that it's her because of the Hoover sound.
And because it's
Like,
the same
that's-
woman.
Yeah.
Because they show her face.
Well, actually, they don't. They
Fuck.
just show in this. Don't worry, I
I'm
only
gonna get a
noticed
bad
it,
grade. I'm watching
building
Johnny
thing.
English.
She like just starts hoovering, and all that Johnny sees is like someone using the Hoover. It like just the Hoover itself comes past the door, and he is activated immediately. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill whoever that is.
He just happens to be proven right because she throws like 3 knives at him.
Wrong.
Well, he gets the wrong person because he accidentally attacks.
Fuck out of here.
Jesus, all right.
He accidentally attacks like M's
damn.
mum, who is just an old lady who's doing the hoovering.
Well, he gets attacked by the cleaner first, and then as she flees, he attacks M's mum.
actually isn't true.
By accident. Thank you.
I know. I think they do the joke twice.
No, they genuinely like.
They do the joke twice. He attacks a person with the Hoover and it's like, this is the assassin from Hong Kong. And they're like,
Yeah.
that's my mum. He's then forced to go into the kitchen and apologize to Pegasus's mum. And that's when she turns around and she
Christ.
really is the killer.
It's
queen.
okay. I only know this because I wrote it down specifically because like there was no reason for him to attack that woman.
Yeah.
You're so right.
There's absolutely no
Right,
reason he would
Devon
have to
apology
assume
form.
that the person using a Hoover in like M's house is the same assassin from Macau who also just uses a Hoover.
He has triggers, you know. It's just that it happens. They happen to be like dangerously misogynistic.
Yeah, so he grabs her and he goes into the room. He's like, I've got it. I've got the one who killed the fella in wherever it was. And it's like, that's my mother, you know?
It sucks.
And then they do it
Sucks.
again. They do the same joke
they do it
again.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the point at which Pegasus is just like, you're fired, Johnny English, you suck, we all hate you. Rosamund Pike is like, I believe you for some reason.
Because she's a behavioral
Oh
psychologist.
no, she
and
says you're
goes,
showing all 4 markers of a person telling the truth.
Exactly.
Yes, which goes totally unquestioned, right? And we then see what the
Sure.
movie thinks behavioral psychology is, right? Because she sneaks him into MI7 after hours.
What are the 4 markers of someone telling the truth?
Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
B-boying, MCing. Like,
Smarm, cultural
Yeah.
sensitivity. Unprovoked violence and misogyny.
yeah.
God, why are people telling the truth always horrible? But so she sneaks him into MI7 and she hooks him up to the fucking HexCorp branded sissy hypno.
She hits him with the Hypnodome thing.
She does, and she goes, listen, whenever I mention Mozambique, a bunch of really racist soundtrack cuts in, and you do this weird twitch, right? And part of my deal is that people kind of tend to leak emotionally through their faces.
Emotional leakage. Yes.
Yes.
Use the word.
To which English hits her with
I don't leak.
fucking me refusing to take part in Welsh patriotism.
said
It's,
so
it's
much-
fine. Listen, it happens at that age, okay? There's no shame in just getting like an
you
adult
don't
diaper,
get
you know? It's fine.
wiser when you get older. You just get more likely to piss yourself.
Honestly, he's had so much FFS. Like, there's a lot of nerve damage going on. Like, he's got no idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad. Like, you kiss Johnny English, he can't feel it.
I mean,
Sad.
it fully is the...
Consequently, we are vitally concerned with unauthorized leakages.
So she puts him in the fucking sissy hypno machine and says the word Mozambique to him. And we get a bunch of, like, weird facial expressions. And she says...
There. Could we call that leakage?
You ever see an entire auditorium full of people get a kink at the same time?
But anyway, so this is the flashback machine, Johnny English. It's time for us to flash back to Mozambique now.
Yes.
And so we see what happened in Mozambique. That he was the head of security for the new president of Mozambique.
Yes.
Yes.
And then a sexy lady was just like, "Ooh, Mr. English, would you like to shag in the hot tub?"
I love the hot tub.
Jacuzzi.
We have big plan, you know.
And he's like, you know what? I would like to not pay attention to my job and be distracted by firm, large titties. So I will.
Yeah, and then
I'm so often saying this, to be fair.
while they're in the jacuzzi, one of the president's bodyguards pulls a gun on him and shoots him in the back, which means that the movie Johnny English Reborn kind of predicted the assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey. Just one for the real geopolitics heads out there. R.I.P. Andrei Karlov, you know, I know you're looking down on us.
Yeah.
And whilst he's having this flashback, he's like, oh, Vortex were in Mozambique. I remember Fisher was there, and then there was another guy whose face I can't remember yet because it's not time for me to remember that. But then the
We gotta wait
third
for the
one
third act for that.
was a KGB guy called Artem Kolenko.
Yeah, Russian Guyevich.
Yeah, Russian guy, bitch.
What genuinely one of the most Russian Guyeviches of all time.
Yeah, he does also hit
just here.
on Rosamund Pike while he's in trance. He says the words plump pillows. If a man said the word plump pillows about me, I think I would be forced to execute him in self-defense. And so, yeah, she's charmed again. Like, he's a hit with women in this one for some fucking reason.
Yeah, why?
We're gonna go get another drink.
Reasonable. We can contractually.
Careful.
Contractually, we can oblige them to do the whole show, but not to be on stage for the whole time. It's a
We
whole
can't
thing.
oblige them to remain sober during Johnny English too.
If you're fucking defecting back there, I swear to God,
I promise I'm not defecting back here.
defecting to another podcast.
Put the scorpion in their chair.
You're good.
What's going on here?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry
That's a
about
lot of ass sweat.
it. It's all good.
I got the official beer of driving. That's a lot of you.
So you remember how in Goldfinger, because this is just a pastiche of Bond has to golf with Goldfinger. Well, he has to golf with Russian Guyevich, and they make Daniel Kaluuya caddy.
Sorry, I really want a
him.
sponsorship.
So sad.
That-
My notes say nobody will be seated during the riveting golf scene.
It's just, it edges closer to Rowan Atkinson's interests and the things that Rowan Atkinson wants to do.
They just sort of filmed this around him, I think.
Yeah.
Is he aware that he's in this?
In the same way that we're aware that we're in Britain, you know?
Yeah.
The kind of reality-fiction distinction gets a bit fuzzy around him.
The killer cleaner is here disguised as a golfer, so they, of course, hit you with...
Just a bunch of guys, like, thinking really hard about how to be, like, racist about golf.
Yes.
She has a golf club gun, which is cool.
That is quite fun,
cool.
yeah.
And
She's got good gadgets. They don't lampshade and they don't draw attention to the gadgets at all, but like she's got some pretty cool gadgets.
she shoots Russian Guyevich.
Yeah.
And English and Tucker have to evacuate him in a helicopter. And this is the apotheosis in this movie of being good at stuff, right? Because you don't get points for being comically bad at flying a fucking helicopter that's still impressive.
Yeah, I feel like if you live, you've flown the helicopter well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Anything above the like Colin McRae performance of flying a helicopter is still impressive. Frankly, even that was kind of impressive and then abruptly stopped being impressive, right? Like...
They do get the one moment in the movie where I laughed, which is that they're trying to get into a hospital and they don't know which way the hospital is. So they just like fly down to about a foot off the road and follow the road.
Yeah, this is
and,
a good bit.
Follow the road signs, which I do think is quite funny.
It's really impressive stunt work, again, for that joke, which I did not laugh at. And I'm just like, you got a guy to fly a helicopter like an inch off the ground for this, you know? It's like pearls before swine, this movie, you know?
He's like, keep him alive, try something else to Daniel Kaluuya, and he starts like singing at him, which is funny. It was funny. And like Johnny joins in with the singing and it hits the soundtrack. It was fine. This was good. This was the one good scene in the movie. Typically you want a higher hit rate than that, but that's, you know, it's fine. But they do nail one per film.
You hate to hand it to them.
I'm okay.
At this point, they get him to the hospital, and you know, NHS cutbacks being what it is, still has to wait outside for a bit, and of course dies while this is happening. But like before he does, he's like, Vortex was 3 dudes. One of them was the CIA, one of them was KGB. That's me,
Devin.
helpfully, and one of them was dead.
Oh, he does
he
actually
says
say
it.
MI7.
Yeah, he comes back after the death scene to be like, and MI7, and then dies again. It's great.
Yeah.
And it should at this point be obvious, right?
Yeah,
Who
no,
the
it's the only other guy in the movie.
Yeah. Johnny English.
Yeah.
So at this point,
Who keeps fucking everything up for MI7?
yeah, English has to go back to MI7, and we see the Prime Minister, who has changed into a kind of Cameron-esque figure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the fucking Prime Minister in this. Because they've clearly tried to go for David Cameron. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they've made it, it's like movie David Cameron, so he's like much more attractive and competent than the real guy.
Yeah.
And he just occupies this really fucking weird space of like, what if David Cameron was good?
It's just kind of technocracy, because this Prime Minister is like, I just have to do rapprochement with China. Do you think David Cameron ever said the words rapprochement with China in his fucking life?
No. But anyway, the Prime Minister's like, we need to meet with the Chinese Premier in order to like contain rogue...
You need to rapproche, you know?
Yeah, in order to like contain rogue states in Southeast Asia who have nukes.
Yeah. So, right.
And then he's like...
hold on. Southeast Asia?
Yeah.
Because obviously they're going for a North Korea thing here.
That's not where that is.
Southeast
That's
Asia.
not where that is.
What are they to East Timor, maybe? Like, what's the rogue state, you know?
The Laotian atomic bomb program.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and also, Rosamund Pike is there because she's going to be in these meetings because the official position of the British government in this movie is that the Chinese government is so, like, inscrutable that they need to do body language shit on them to understand how the negotiations are going. She says to Not Cameron about the Chinese premier, it's all about the eyes with Shang Ping. And it's just like, come on, man.
Don't do that.
Like, half
Don't do
of
that.
these guys went to fucking Oxford. It's like...
The other weird thing is that, like, David Cameron says, well, the Chinese premier will only meet us if we can guarantee his security.
Do it in China.
That's what I thought. Meet him in fucking China. Do you know where it's pretty secure? Like, fucking China.
Now it's your problem, yeah.
Yeah. Well, right, do your own security then, mate. Oh, Ash, tell you what, let's do it on Zoom. Easy.
Smart.
But and at this point, Agent One, who's like, hello, I'm definitely not the villain of the film. What if we meet in, I don't know, fucking Switzerland for some reason? Cool, great, whatever.
This cool, like, bastion up a mountain in Switzerland. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll lock that in. And then he takes English out for a meal, at the end of which he sexually harasses the waitress, and English, like, piggybacks on the sexual harassment.
Yeah. They like bond by sexually harassing a waitress. It's cool. It's like, what would you like for dessert? And Agent One hits her with the bloody you, and Johnny goes, bring 2 spoons, which
really
Fuck
makes
off.
it sound like they're just in a like
They're
looking
fucking.
looking
They're
for a
gay.
third, like canonically, like kind of looking for a unicorn. They go to the bathroom together.
I do quite like this moment where Johnny English is like, look, Simon, I've got to tell you something. I've heard that there's a mole inside MI7, and supposedly it's a pretty senior guy. And I just want to ask you a very serious question. I want you to be honest with me. And we see that under the table, like, Simon's got a fucking gun on him, and he just goes, do you have any fucking idea who it is?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, to be fair, that is quite funny.
That was good.
So they go to the bathroom together? Question mark.
No.
Do they not?
Yeah, don't worry. He gets a text
You
from
can't just hit
Tucker.
me with a full force no and then be like, don't worry.
Well, don't worry.
I'm worrying.
Oh, okay, that's fine. No, Tucker gives him a text, and they go, because they have to have a little chat before he comes in.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Like meet me in bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then Tucker's like, it's Simon. Simon's the
Simon.
villain. And Rowan Atkinson says, it can't be him. He went to Eton. And I'm like, oh, no British person who's evil has ever been to Eton before. Like, come on.
Very, very strongly, the first 2 reels of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy
Yeah.
contained in that line, you know? Like, it can't be him. He had to fucking Eton. At which point, Simon himself, Agent One, walks in, and Tucker holds him at gunpoint and explains the plot of the movie to him, and is like, I know you're evil, right? I can smell crime or whatever. Referencing a tweet about Jason Statham, this is the way that my brain works sometimes.
He goes, you said you'd never met Russian Guyevich, but I found a photo of you on Facebook with a big fish. You were clearly on a fucking swimming trip.
Yeah.
You seemed like real tight homies, actually.
Would have been funnier.
And
Yeah.
we see that Simon pulls some bullshit out of his ass. He's like, actually, I work for a counter-mole secret organization within MI7. And he, like, invents a name off the top of his head by reading the urinals, as though it's called Armitage.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Kinda
but
funny.
I'm definitely not evil, actually. And he's, like, sweating bullets. And Johnny English is like, I completely believe you. Go home, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he doesn't just say
He doesn't
go
just
home.
say that, yeah.
Because the bowstring leading to the most racist line in the movie has been loosed. Because what he says is...
You're in way over your head, boy. Now run along.
Boy.
Now,
That's real bad.
they try to contextualize it in the next line as a kind of school teacher thing by being like, you've let me down, you've let the school down, and frankly, I think you've let yourself down. But I just, screenwriting software typically has a backspace button. If you find you've written yourself into a corner and it's a racist corner.
Clippy pops up and is just like, don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know if you can be typing that.
Yeah.
You can't be typing like that, White Johnny. Like, if you write yourself into
Careful,
a racist
Whitey.
hole, you don't have to then just be like,
Careful, Whitey.
Yeah.
you don't have to then just have the next line be like, not racistly though. Like, you can take that out of there, write a different line, mate. You don't have anyone on staff that is telling you that calling this fella boy is not a good fucking look? Like, nobody to script doctor this?
Seemingly not. No, they had lost Purvis and Wade back to Bond at this point. So it's not even on them. It's just It's one guy being like, I've written myself into a racist corner, but I write myself out of racist corners too.
At this point, we get this like
Solved
really
it.
weird
Nice.
class subplot because Simon says like, okay, the real mole is Q from the earlier scene. Remember him?
Yeah.
And he said about you, Johnny, that you are a jumped up grammar school nobody. It's like that's such a specific English class beat.
Fascinating insight into the boomer mind, you know, to be like, this is the greatest horror.
The worst thing anyone can be told.
You went to a fucking grammar school.
Grammar school.
Not state school. Not even state school. Grammar school. Like that's the thing you're not allowed to be. It's like you're middle class. Not middle class enough. Fuck you.
It's realistic, I suppose. You know, I mean, I went to a private school that existed to get beaten at rugby by Eton. So, and let me tell you, Etonians hate people like that way more than they hate state school people most of the time. It's a strange dynamic.
You went to a Washington Generals.
Yes, they were dunking on us with ladders. Got tackled by an Etonian and you'd break like your entire pelvis. Yeah, it was crazy.
I was actually banned from playing rugby at my school.
Yeah, because of being transgender.
No,
In many ways, you were the Imam Khalif of... No,
I really
not
like
even
this,
trans. That joke doesn't work. Fuck.
I broke someone's nose.
Oh.
They probably
So
deserve it.
again, what are you doing later? Like...
They said something mean to me. And from then on, it was ping pong.
I was doing fencing to get out of rugby.
No, I did fencing outside of school time.
I didn't do nothing. I was not very sporty as a child. Just didn't do it.
So at this point,
I went to a state school. Yeah, right? There's one of us.
they actually do...
Aberystwyth University. Fucking sound off, boys. H. Bomber guy went there. I don't know if anyone else.
So no. I dropped out of Glasgow Uni, if anyone's a big fan of that. Like,
Woo!
yeah, thank you. Big alumni of Glasgow University, Nicola Sturgeon, until recently.
They de-alumnied her?
St Andrews University.
It happens. It
And
happens
one
to
of
the best
the
of us.
one of the former rectors of St Andrews University is Rowan Atkinson.
And if you're watching,
So,
you can be here tomorrow night.
Actually, the students of St Andrews recently asked me to run for rector, which would have been very funny. I would have loved to if I had the time.
nobody's asking me to run for shit these days, you know? Sucks.
Like, you know, they're just asking me to run just in general. They're like, get out of here. I just get a text every so often that just says, run.
So, as the Bond movies get like grimmer and darker and more serious. Yeah, sorry. We had to do the mandatory bit of every British media product where we talk about which school and uni we went to. Just so you know how to like categorize this. As the Bond movies get more like grim and serious, so too do the Johnny English ones. And so they play a relatively straight scene where English confronts Q in church and is like, you're the defector. And Q's like, no, you are. I'm the trap.
You're the defector because
Closes
like
around.
Agent 1 has gotten on the call after the end of a scene and been like, I figured out who the mole is. It's Johnny.
Yeah, and they spring the trap on him. Luckily, English has learned in the monastery one of James Bond's powers. The power of exploit disability. Must have been a rough few days teaching that at the monastery, I'll tell you that. Throwing a dummy out of a wheelchair. Because that is basically what he does. He fully just like dumps Tim McInerney out of his wheelchair and steals it. Like he wheelchair jacks him.
What I appreciate is that they are not fucking around at all.
No, they
like,
shoot
the
to
other
kill.
agents that are in that church are shooting to kill.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
not using gas. Like, they're like bullets.
Yeah. Like, we're going to compromise Johnny English to a fatal end.
And they do a little chase down the mall in the gadget wheelchair.
Yeah, again, this must have been so much work to film. It's quite like competently done in terms of like stunt driving and stuff. And it just, the joke sucks. It's not good.
Yeah.
Like,
There's one slightly funny bit where there's a queue of people using wheelchairs outside a disabled toilet, and Johnny English goes to the front of the queue, and they're like, you're pushing in the queue for the toilet. And then like he just pulls a gun on them. Like
Pretty
that is
good.
kind of, I would also like to do that if anyone ever challenges me in a public bathroom.
This is not an ethical use of the wheelchair gun, you know. But so he escapes with the aid of the very fast wheelchair. And again, like they have a shot in this that could have fully decapitated a stunt performer for the sake of Johnny English too. And I'm like, whatever they're paying you for that, it's not enough. It's not going to have been enough, you know?
Yeah, no, they like close him off with a truck and he hits a button on the wheelchair that makes it like flatten down and he goes under the truck. First of all, too confident. Second of all, we didn't know the wheelchair could do that. So it's not satisfying to see him do it.
No.
But he then invades the house of one Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, my note just says you used to be able to afford a London flat like this for like £5 a month, bills included.
God, it's such a nice flat.
It's really nice.
I don't think they
plan.
pay MI7 behavioral analysts like that much money.
No. But she...
Do they? Are any of you in? I guess maybe don't say if you are. That's not a good idea.
Do you want to just like end your entire career for one laugh on a podcast live show? That could be funny,
Worthwhile,
right?
worthwhile.
Like, just if you're out there, let the intrusive thoughts win one time. Like, think of us like the War Thunder forums, right? Like,
Consequently, we are vitally concerned with unauthorized leakages.
There we go.
so, yeah, she is, of course, shocked to see him there. But the Johnny English Riz wins out. You know, she can tell that he's telling the truth. And then
She's got powers like the lady from Poker Face.
yeah, she like goes back in. She like puts him back in trance, right, in hypnosis. It's like, I need you to remember who the third fucking guy was. This mysterious Dominic West-shaped man. Who could he have been? And he goes, yo, that's McNulty from The Wire.
Oh my God. Yeah, throughout this, we're getting cutaways to Dominic West. He's using the keys, the three keys. He's put them together into one key. He uses it to open a box. There's a vial in there. Ooh.
For a second, I was just like, oh, it's estrogen. You can't
It's
get
the
injectable
only
estrogen
way.
in the UK unless you assemble like 3 keys.
Yeah. We've each got part of a key. The only way to get estrogen is to kill us all.
Yeah, they're piecing this together in Rosamund Pike's apartment as well, because they're like, well, Fisher was working on a classified project using a chemical, which is really difficult to pronounce, and we're going to derive a lot of comedy from the fact that it's really, really difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, sometimes it's spelled with an O in front in England,
Yeah.
but in...
It's fucking tamoxylin barbibutanol. It's not that difficult. Off the dome.
Right off the top, one of the main things you're going to notice about tamoxylin and barbibutanol is there's a lot of B
2 out of
sounds
3.
in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's the fucking bread and butter of Johnny English.
The
What if he
voiced
says a
bilabial
B
plosive
sound?
strikes again. Barbibutanol.
Shut up.
And what tamoxylin barbibutanol does is
3 out of 3, we nailed it.
Thank you. It puts somebody in a trance, brackets not sexy. It kind of like poppers them up.
Yeah,
then
imagine if there was a drug that put someone in a trance. That would never be sexy.
and then they do whatever they're told to do when they're
Yeah,
high.
imagine that being I can't, personally. If you have any thoughts about how that could be sexy, keep them to yourselves. You know,
it's crazy.
Disgusting.
But then you do also die after 15
You
minutes.
do die afterwards. yeah.
Well, I mean, you know.
What are you doing in those 15 minutes, though? That's the question. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the real question is, what am I going to do for the other 12 minutes?
usually like,
Don't clap for me.
yes, crying and dissociating. No, I can top, I swear.
Jesus H.
It's fine.
So, we do get a little cutaway
She
scene where
didn't
we
see me do that as well. I got away with that.
Someone has hired, like, fucking
Dominic
Agent
West,
1, whatever
yeah.
his cunt is. Yeah, him. Someone's hired this guy to kill the Chinese premier. And we
who
see
hired him?
that the guy is a guy I love to see, Benedict Wong.
Yeah.
Does not... You're right. Does not return in this movie. He's just like, they just needed a character to be the one who hired him. And it's
Totally
nice.
wasted, you know?
Absolutely wasted.
Sucks.
He's paying him $500 million, which is like very expensive for an assassination.
I guess if it's the premier of China.
That's a huge fucking markup. Like, you can get an assassination for like anywhere between 15 to 50 grand. Like, you don't need 500 million.
I got the Temu political assassination.
You fucking imagine.
It was just a guy with a bunch of shit he built in his garage. Actually worked really well. Value for money.
I would be so fucking mad if I got assassinated and they like paid him 15 grand. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. What's it?
Worth so much more than that.
But like 100 grand is like
50,
pushing like top end. Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of money.
Well, see, it's not your dad's aspirational assassination. It's Rowan Atkinson's.
The Rolls Royce of
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. My next note is Rosamund, no, don't. By which we can assume that he's getting the girl.
He gets the girl. He fully gets the girl.
Yeah, she suddenly fancies him for no reason.
Well, it's because there's a deleted scene in the credits where he chops a bunch of vegetables in the Hall of the Mountain King that's apparently funny and makes her be like, I should fuck this man.
No, she's like, I've since the start, Johnny. I had a professional interest in you, which is funny as a behavioral psychologist to be like, I was fascinated by what the fuck was going on with you. I thought, now that's a freak I can get my fucking teeth into.
This is the mother of all countertransference, I swear to God. Like the safeguarding that they're doing, non-existent.
But over time I've decided that I have actual romantic feelings towards you.
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah, don't do that.
The first time she met this guy, he was going,
There's a good pussy. Who's a good pussy?
And I guess that had some kind of like neuro-linguistic programming, subliminal effects.
But the first time they met, he threw a cat out of a window.
Maybe she's just really into animal cruelty.
Yeah, she hates animals.
Just hybristophilia. Like, she's just, I don't know.
I believe Agent 1 shows up at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Simon appears.
She like locks him in a bedroom. She does something which I'm very weak to, which is the posh girl wave. Like, she's like, stay there. And I'm like, fuck, okay.
Wait, what's the posh girl
It's
wave?
like this. Like, yeah. It's cunty. And it has a powerful effect, you know? So he looks out the window just...
Writing down practice posh girl wave.
Mm-hmm. She gets in the car with Agent 1, and Johnny English looks out of the window and sees Agent 1, who looks up at him and fucking like makes him instantly. And it's like, I know you know that you're watching. Cunt. He says all of that too. It's a great line.
Well, Johnny English is looking out of the window and he sees this guy from the back above and goes like, oh shit, that's the guy from Mozambique. Like, fuck, cool, man. Yeah, anyway. But like the lights are off, right? And we hear the Hoover. And I go, oh, nice. Okay, that's the noise that we play to let us know that she's in the fucking... And it hits me with this afterwards. It's like, I heard the Hoover.
Yeah.
I've put together who it is.
Yeah, M's mum.
Anyway, she's here. She's got a Hoover again.
It's a chainsaw this time.
It's a chainsaw.
She's trying to like Gears of War his ass.
Yeah.
Like
he like hides in the bathroom and she like chainsaws through the door and you get like a split second where they've shot it like the Shining scene with the fucking
it's quite
axe.
fun.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
How does he fucking defeat her? Because
I don't think he does.
He
My notes say, but he just runs away.
He literally just dips.
She is an old woman.
He goes, nah, fuck
just
that.
runs away.
Okay.
And this point he goes to Tucker's flat. And he says, Tucker...
Where Tucker is gaming.
He's playing like Gran Turismo or something. It's kind of fun.
And he says, Tucker, we were right. And I do like that they do give Daniel Kaluuya this memory. He gets to go, we? We were right, you motherfucker. Like, and then there's this bizarre moment where Johnny English tries to appeal to his sense of patriotism. And he's like, I'm here because my country needs me and it also needs you. And he's like, great, let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, this works. This is
on
a thing
board.
that will work.
You don't have to apologize to me at all.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, I guess you
Don't worry,
have
he
to
doesn't.
be like patriotic to work for MI6, given the salaries. You know, like if anyone wants to, thank you. Yeah.
The heckler.
Fully forgot that Toshiba was sponsoring British intelligence. That's how weak of a joke it is. The way that he escapes from the thing, by the way, is he dives down a rubbish chute. He loves shoots.
He's a big shoots guy. My next note is, wow, cars are so cool. I love cars.
Yeah, they go, hey, remember the one-of-one V16 Rolls Royce we got for this? That's cool,
It's still
right?
in the movie.
You know what's annoying? Is speed cameras. So they do a bit where they set off a speed camera in it because he's going so fast, and then you see a tracking shot of him setting off like 50 different speed cameras in like a second because of how fast it is, and it's like...
Yeah, to get the car out of the lockup, he like uses a laser out the front of it, and it shoots out of the fucking Rolls Royce like crest sigil on the front.
Yeah, fucking Spirit of Victory or whatever.
Like, cool, man, yeah.
I
Nice.
apologize if this is libel, but... Am I right in thinking that Rowan Atkinson does in fact have real speeding tickets? In which case, these jokes just come across as really petty.
Really petty, yeah.
I don't know if we can say, but I think we can say that someone in a position like Rowan Atkinson could plausibly be imagined as part of a comedic performance to have had speeding tickets. And that in no way reflects the real Rowan Atkinson.
I might be misremembering that, but I seem to remember that he did. I
He's
apologize.
probably got speeding tickets.
Yeah, he probably fucking... Yeah, he
definitely does.
hit
He
and run
definitely has
Deliveroo
speeding
guy. I
tickets,
don't know.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
My
sure,
name is
whatever.
Devon, and I believe that Rowan Atkinson has speeding tickets.
Just inflating the lie to a level that we cannot possibly sustain it. And it becomes increasingly clear that what we've done is confused Rowan Atkinson with Matthew Broderick.
And Rowan Atkinson, if you don't, but you want to come down here, if you leave now, you could get a speeding ticket by the time you get here.
Some of you don't know about Matthew Broderick, huh? Google it after the show. I'm about to see
The voice of Simba?
The voice of Simba, the voice of driving away from a fatal accident as well. Shit,
Well, that was the plot of The Lion King, yes.
Yeah. In many ways, wildebeest are the cars of the Serengeti, so I guess that does make a lot of sense.
So they have to infiltrate the fucking Swiss bunker, right?
Oh, yeah,
And this is really funny, right? Because I kind of getting too into playing a secret agent, right? As a kind of 60-something comic actor and being like, oh, this is cool. I'll just make them do this for real. But he gets into it so much, they kind of make him Captain Price.
Yeah.
Like they're infiltrating the situation in the like SAS gear. He's like, right, we're gonna fucking... It's like he does the... Should have done one of the fruit pastels before I did the Captain Price voice. Something for tomorrow.
They accidentally... He sets off an alarm beacon by mistake.
Yes.
And then they have to do the fake prisoner routine. And I do love it at this point, Daniel Kaluuya just gets to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's good.
It's really funny that he just like punches him and he's like, oh, I can see why people like this. And then just beats the shit out of Rowan Atkinson and like takes him prisoner.
Yeah.
I like the bit where he like gets too excited about it and he's like, oh, what if I shot you? And you see Johnny like, oh.
Carrying it too far.
He does. He fucking shoots him and so then he's in a fucking body bag.
Yeah.
I do also want to say, when they get detected, English says,
Dear God, let me not die at the hands of the Swiss.
Dear God, let me not die at the hands of the Swiss. Which... It's one of these bizarre, like, Top Gear, like, joke
shit.
bigotries that is still, like, acceptable. Like, not to defend the honor of Swiss people, the most racist people in the world, but, like, genuinely, though, they teach their children to hate. To like, oh, this is a funny comic thing to do, be like, oh, God, the fucking Swiss. And it's like, you don't know anything about the Swiss, man. Like, it's just a thing that you do that you think is funny and isn't, you know? Also, dear God, let me not die at the hands of the Swiss is a sentence that was last said in 1513 at the Battle of Navarra. So, like, don't even...
It's a shame what happened to the Battle of Navarra. They used to be quite left-wing, but just a lot of it's gone really weird.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about nowadays.
Yeah.
I like Savoyard media, personally. A couple of Swiss military history fans in tonight.
Yeah. He does one of his like fucking I learned this from the Ronin tangerine sellers of Burma bits where he like fuck it, but it doesn't work if it's not
the dome. That's astonishing.
It doesn't work if it's not Bough. Because like He's just like pulling rank on a younger agent, and he is wrong, and it's not the same joke. It's just
true.
a worse one.
It's true.
So anyway, Daniel Kaluuya pretends to kill him, and then they put him, because the only way up to the fortress is by cable car, right? So they put him in a body bag and then take him up in the cable, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, put him in a fridge.
Put him
or
in the
something.
fucking skip. What are you going to do with him up there? You're only going to have to bring him back down again, right?
Just a skip.
They don't have like a fucking corpse fridge at the top of Le Bastion. No, bring it down.
I'm really enjoying the idea of like a yellow skip in the driveway of a fucking evil bunker.
Someone else's skip. They're just like, oh, for fuck's
It's like, yeah, we're having the driveway resurfaced. Getting crazy paving put in.
Post on next always like, stop putting corpses in my fucking skip.
Watching that skip like a hawk. So they let Daniel Kaluuya do some acting. He's really good, is the thing. I don't know if you know this, Daniel Kaluuya, really good actor. The movie figures this out about an hour and 15 minutes in.
He's been waiting. He's been like, finally, I get to do some fucking scenes. Anyway, they figure out that the plan is that Agent 1 is going to give Pegasus the mind control drug in her like little drink, and then she's going to assassinate the Chinese premier, so it's going to look like she did it, and they're going to get away with it, right?
Yes.
And then Johnny English bursts in, and then he gets them all at gunpoint. He's like, "Oh, Pegasus, they were gonna drug you. How were you gonna do it? Were you gonna maybe put it in a cocktail? Then oh no, he's drunk in it."
Yeah, it's very funny. Also, I do know that when he first enters a room, Pegasus, Gillian Anderson, full force throws a vase at him, like instantly, like the full Naomi Campbell reflex speed, just like the slightest misdeed, just goes. Like I could have said Cheryl Cole. There's a few people I could, Mostly my note was just to say that I need Gillian Anderson to full force throw a vase at me.
Can we get this?
Or someone who looks a lot like Gillian Anderson in this movie.
So they give Johnny English the mind control sissy hypno poppers,
Yes.
and
My man is dilated to fuck.
Yeah,
Every sphincter of that man's body is dilated to its maximum permissible diameter.
And again, we get this weird, like, school class subplot.
Some of the weird ones, like stomach, too.
Yeah, you
It's
need a lot of those sphincters tight.
Yeah,
Like,
most of them, yeah.
just in general,
yeah, that's its purpose, yeah.
you want those sphincters to be tight.
Yeah.
I think most of what internal medicine as a field is about knowing which sphincters should be loosened.
Yes.
It's just, my man's gallbladder is getting flooded.
It's just a ring of muscle, folks. So technically, your irises are a sphincter. You can take that home.
It's just fun watching the audience to see which of you have had medical training.
You can really loosen those by doing too many poppers.
So
They send him into the meeting with the Chinese premier, and he's being controlled through an earpiece.
yeah, prior to this, he has to have gone Joker mode, right? Because the way the drug works is, Agent 1 reveals himself to be evil, and he's like, the drug has a manic phase in which Rowan Atkinson does some physical comedy. And then it has a Rowan Atkinson gets sissy hypno to do whatever I want phase. And then crucially, the next phase is Rowan Atkinson fucking dies phase.
Yeah, 15 minutes, yeah. 15-minute window if you do whatever I say and then you die, right?
Yeah, sure.
The Chinese premier says something here, and my note says, so racist, dog. Because the translator says, China regards Britain as completely honorable. And I'm like,
I wouldn't.
fuck me, dog.
There were some things we did.
Yeah.
Like quite dishonorable things to China.
First of all, if they do, they're fucking naive. Secondly, we're still on this like Confucian honor stereotype shit. I'm like, for fuck's sake, dog.
Yeah. British Prime Minister entering dialogue with Chinese Premier, be like, we regard you as completely honorable. Chinese Premier, sup.
Yeah.
Totally normal guy, you know? Like, even the Bond things where it's like he goes to the back of Uzbekistan and the guy's like, I recognize you from Oxbridge, where we both went, is like less racist than this. But so...
They give him a secret gun.
Concealed in?
In some lipstick.
Yeah, because they planned for it to be Gillian Anderson, and so they have to do a little cross-dressing for it to be funny. So they make him put on the lipstick and then pull the gun on the Chinese premier. However, due to his monastic jelking regimen...
The fucking sentences, this job. Makes you say.
Yeah. Due to his monastic joking regimen, Johnny English has a purity of spirit and a strength of will that enables him to resist these impulses through the means of more fucking physical comedy.
Yes.
Like fucking, it's a guy windmilling his arms around. It's like, do you remember the Orson Welles quote about Woody Allen, right?
Yes. Every single part of this is
The fucking, Chaplin disease, right? Of wanting to be loved so badly that you project your insecurities onto screen. Everything you do is a kind of cry for attention.
Everything he does on screen is therapeutic.
Yeah.
And it fucking is.
It works on a podcast, sucks in a movie.
I was gonna say, I know a couple of YouTubers like that.
Do you want to name them?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
A little practice point here, by the way.
No, I do not.
They're shooting a lot of Tucker, right?
True.
Now, something that you might notice about Tucker is that he isn't white. However, they don't know how to shoot light or grade for non-white skin at all. Like, the lighting in the scene is clearly done with the majority white cast. So, like, you see all of their features, they pop beautifully. It's really harsh white light, and they've bumped the contrast up. And the effect of that is that you can't fucking see Daniel Kaluuya. Like, it's badly made, and it's fucking racist that no one on the fucking staff knows how to shoot people who aren't white.
Racist color grading. It's a real thing.
Racist movie.
You meant shoot in terms of, like, film cameras?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just important to, clarify that one, yeah.
So Daniel Kaluuya hacks the earpiece. So Agent 1 says over the, like, public address, I'm evil.
Yeah.
That's it. And also they jam the fucking connection, so Johnny English, like, just collapses. Yeah. At this point, they call in some Swiss paramedics. And this is a weird piece of world building, right? Because, like, the whole aesthetic is like evil James Bond bunker. And we've left the kind of, even the comedy of Johnny English 1 behind. So these paramedics are wearing, like, reflective black. And it's just a kind of goth ambulance crew, which...
Yeah.
First of all, looks sick as fuck. But second of all, is just like, that's an odd thing to exist within the context of this movie, to be like, someone's like, no, there would be too much color if we had like a kind of like fluorescent green. Instead, we have to have like, the Hot Topic paramedics.
That's right. I love the idea of a goth ambulance who like run around giving vampires blood transfusions. That's so fun. Writing this down for Dracula's ex-girlfriend too.
I want to be a goth paramedic when I grow up.
You've got the outfit for it.
Thank you, yeah. Just rolls up, revives you, they die of blunt force trauma with these swinging over you. Yeah, so he gets revived by Rosamund Pike kissing him.
What the fuck are we doing here?
He does a bit where he like ekes it out and he's like, I'm almost better, so she has to kiss him some more. And then when he gets better, he says thank you, and she says, I was passing, which...
I'll say.
I mean, you were until you said it.
She just, she hits one of these and she goes like, I was passing. Also, they do a joke that's written for Bough where he's like disappointed that Tucker won't kiss him, which within the thing is kind of a bit like child abuse.
A little bit.
Like,
Yeah.
because Tucker's written to be like 19 and the work experience kid. And he kind of does like, where's my kiss on him, which is, you don't...
Yeah, that's like direct. It's your direct subordinate. You shouldn't kiss people who work for you. That's
Problematic age gap apart from
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Like,
Anyway, at this point, the movie decides, fuck it, he's good at being a spy. And so Rowan Atkinson base jumps off a mountain and then ramps a snowmobile onto a cable car.
This motherfucker, within the same movie, parachutes onto a snowmobile and can't put on a pair of trousers.
It doesn't work. You have to be consistent here. One thing I do like, the parachute opens and it's for Toshiba, we spy for you thing. Kind of funny.
Spy Who Loved Me.
However, my next note is film literally still going.
Yes. They have a fight in the cable car and Agent 1 tries to kick him in the balls. Thanks to his monastic regimen of jelking, he has unlocked a strength of will that allows him not to perceive pain from cock and ball torture. Would hate for this to happen to me. And so there's some gender here because he like kicks him in the nuts like 3 times and then goes, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
There's possibly like a gendered reading of this. Anyway, then English calls him a 5-star turd, which doesn't even make sense, and then kicks him in the nuts, incapacitating him.
And then kills him.
Well, sort of.
Well,
he falls out of the cable car.
It's still a little bit more film.
Yeah, he falls out of the cable car because he's both competent and not, right? And then you have to hand it to them. Like, in this movie, they really do fucking...
Kill James Bond.
Because...
Oh, wow.
He incredible. So thank you to the Fremen for coming out tonight.
No, I'm not doing any.
Fucking, where did I put...
The heckler.
Thank you. So yeah, he blows up Jimmy McNulty's cable car with a fucking RPG.
Sick. Shoots that out of his umbrella. He doesn't know he's doing it. He thinks it's the bulletproof umbrella, but it's the one that actually shoots a missile when you close it. Odd. Yeah. But sure, whatever.
And we do have to hand it to him. He does kill James Bond. Like
he kills the fuck out of him.
He accomplishes the mission of our podcast, right?
He takes out Agent 1, no problem. He's killed so many fucking agents over the course of these two movies, actually.
He's killed canonically all of them.
That's true, yeah.
He's killed more British agents than Kim Philby.
And they made him king.
King Philby.
I'm not going to do this bit.
So on the way out, he calls Daniel Kaluuya a clever boy. I don't have a drop of it, but yeah, real bad.
Don't do that.
So, do you remember the Queen?
Still going.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, buried with like 10,000 corgis to serve her in the afterlife. When this came out, she was still alive and people still like knew or cared who she was.
People still like vaguely respected the monarchy, which is
true,
crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, it's so weird to see, like, this flashback to a time when people gave a shit about the monarchy, and it's like, oh, that's the top bit of England, and now it's just like, oh, that guy's brother's a pedophile. Allegedly.
Where the fuck is the king, by the way? I feel like there have been riots up and down the country for like weeks now, and the king hasn't said a fucking thing.
Well, he's been trying to text
I know
with the
he's
fingers,
dead, obviously.
You know, like...
He's dead. The king.
That's a good
And he's
point.
got speeding tickets as well.
There is like... There is instability in the realm. Where is the king?
The health of the realm is the health of the fucking monarch.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's dead.
Henry Bolingbroke is massing a fucking army with the Earl of Northumberland. Like, where are you at?
Henry, if you can be here by tomorrow.
Bunch of coked up football fans being like, Henry Bolingbroke.
They knight him. They knight him again.
Yeah.
Because he used to be king, and then he was a knight, and then he lost that, and now he's a knight again.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Now,
the same ending as the first one.
yeah, except one thing about the Queen, right, is that she's an old woman with grey hair.
Yep.
Oh.
One thing I don't remember the Queen being was Chinese.
Getting a knighthood, and you're like, it's fine. I just didn't expect it to be Chinese.
Yeah. I'll accept a Chinese knighthood.
And so he...
I wouldn't accept a British one.
They went to a lot of trouble not to have those anymore.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
So he goes Liz Truss mode, and he tries to take out the Queen.
He tackles the Queen. Starts beating her up with a fucking plate or whatever.
It's a crisis.
Yeah.
Heckler.
I don't know what you said.
No.
Gotta get a spotlight on whoever that was.
Yeah, can we just
We'll start booing.
So, yeah, he fucking gets the Queen in a headlock, and the movie ends with the reaction shot of him realizing that he has got the Queen in a headlock, and it's like...
Yeah, because they bring in the actual woman, it's a bunch of guards come into the room holding the actual woman, and he goes, oh, it's the Queen.
Ooh, fuck.
Cut.
Then has a mid-credit scene where he does the Hall of the Mountain King shit to some vegetables.
I don't know what the fuck this was about. We talked about this, in the group chat, you were like, what the fuck was that mid-credit scene? And I absolutely had not seen the movie.
No.
The second the first, credit popped up, I'm slamming the big, red emergency stop button that I've had plumbed into the telly. like the wood class at school machines, no.
You have a saw stop for the TV
Yes,
that just
absolutely.
detonates the LED.
Yeah. I'm done.
You go through so many TVs. That's why we're not profitable.
Yeah, no.
Really, honestly, I can't wait for you to defect so we can get back to a normal TV budget.
No.
I mean, the TV budget bought all of these, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of budgets, though, I
It's
can
a TS
reveal...
budget, strictly.
I can reveal some fun things about the budget of this movie. So it had a budget of
love to.
40 million.
Fuck me.
It made $160 million. It made about $9 million in the US, which is not
This
good.
is one of the least ethical ways to make $120 million. And there are a lot of unethical ways to make $120 million.
It's not even enough to assassinate the premier of China.
There's approximately no ethical ways to make $120 million.
If there are, I'm going to find them. Okay.
We'll see.
Patreon.com/KillJamesBond. Our $120 million tier.
Where we assassinate the premier of China?
I'm not going to commit us to that. One of
We'll
us,
do it.
maybe, who can then defect to avoid suspicion.
I'll do it, yeah, sure.
Yeah, perfect.
So it made $9 million in the US, and then it made $151 million on the international market, which includes Britain. So
Yeah, people love Mr. Bean, and they love Mr. Bean movies.
they do. So 33 million in the UK, 14 million in Germany, and then, and this is very funny, 13 million in Argentina.
Wow.
Which I thought was an interesting
guys
fact,
doing
because
down
they
there?
love Rowan Atkinson in Germany, and like seriously, like it's like just under, like, and then everything
You
else
gotta
is
be
like
careful with that arm
500,000 in Singapore, 500,000 in like Peru or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
Germany and Argentina, like just one behind the other. Like, oh,
That's crazy.
What are
Dieses
Germans in
Mr.
Argentina?
Bean ist sehr komisch.
And it also made me imagine Michael Fassbender as Magneto going to Argentina to hunt down Mr. Bean.
Well, it's the reverse, right? You look at all the places where Johnny English Reborn was streamed in Argentina, and that's your kind of like, you know, signifying the number 3 with this rather than like this, right? That's how you know whether or not someone's a Nazi, right? Like, but we don't, I mean, what did we learn from this movie first?
Tucker doesn't get a knighthood, by the way. He's gone.
Yeah, Tucker just
gives a
leaves
fuck?
the film.
Yeah, he's not getting shit. He's not even getting like a CMG. Like,
He's
nothing.
out of here.
He's not even in the third one.
No, they
No.
kill him, like off screen or something. I
Boff
don't know.
takes him out.
Damn shame. Damn
Tell you
shame.
what, Boff is a man without honor or humanity. Like, it's rough.
It's more like Mesmer the Impaler in that way.
This movie, what does it say about masculinity? What does it say about Englishness?
God, it says quite a lot of that.
He says much more about masculinity in this one because, like, he's much more of a typical James Bond figure in this one, even down to the making misogynistic jokes, which he resisted doing for the most part in the first one.
Yeah, it's the boomer particles have intensified to the point that we may no longer be able to contain them. Buy your tickets for night 3.
It gets worse.
It does, it really does. But in this one, it's just like, oh yeah, of course this guy would like drive a big fuck off Rolls Royce, and of course speeding cameras are annoying, and call centers are annoying, and like the government's privatizing everything. We'll get to like more government stuff in 3, but like it's just.
But hidden in all of that as well is just like, this David Cameron guy seems nice.
Yeah, he seems basically smart and chill. He says
Yeah.
stuff like rapprochement, which is like, he went to Eton, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, it's a movie that falls for its own bullshit. It like identifies, hey, wait a second, you can't just say that this guy's cool because he went to Eton, and then goes, oh, David Cameron, he seems like he's on the ball with this stuff, you know?
There's just like a little bit of reaction. It's creeping in here. There's that conservatism at the core of Britishness starts to come in this movie, and it gets much, much worse tomorrow night.
Yeah. And it's just alarmingly racist against like Asians specifically, like Chinese people, like just sort of a pan-Asian racist noise.
Hell, it doesn't do any favors for Mozambique.
No, that's true. Or the Swiss, I guess, if we're going down the list.
All the fucking English people who aren't white. Like, Daniel Kaluuya is treated like fucking shit in this movie by Johnny English. Like, it's so painful to watch.
Yeah, and he has to like kind of comically shrug it off because it's a comedy, and it's like, okay.
I genuinely thought there was going to be a moment where he goes to him in his flat and he's like, your country needs you. And I wanted Daniel Kaluuya to have a moment to be like, oh, fucking does it? Does it?
Yeah, could have fooled me.
Yeah, like he's a black kid living in a really small flat under fucking David Cameron's conservative government. I thought they were going to make a big deal out of it. Like, that would have been a really interesting moment. Instead, it's just like, yeah, go on then.
But we don't have to be subjective about these things because we have a science-based system. It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. So, on a scale of 0 to 7, how
I almost forgot about the scum thing. Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't get easier.
I don't like that you can use them to chant scum at me like that, but I'm trying my best over here.
All right, okay.
How smarmy is this movie? Bear in mind that we gave the last one a 7. It kind of, weirdly, it seems slightly less now that he's, like, more competent.
It's less because they get more serious.
It's true.
There are a few of the smarmy lines, but it's still extremely pleased with himself. All that stuff of like walking around the obstacles and like, oh, he's so wise because he's like got the old boomer stuff. He's better than the young agent who like can't take a hit and like, oh, I'm so wise, but I don't like put up with call centers and speed cameras and shit. It's like, oh, fuck. Oh.
I think the parkour sequence made me want to give it a 6. Like,
and like all the Rolls Royce shit too. I'm just.
Oh, the bit where the Rolls Royce fucking lasers its way out of the garage. Yeah. No, grim.
Big fawning shot of the front of the Rolls Royce. Oh, what if you could get a Rolls Royce? You can't. None of you can get a fucking. I'm not getting a Rolls Royce. No one's getting a fucking Rolls Royce. Only this guy's getting a Rolls Royce. Like it's not.
And he wants to like rub your face in it. Like, sucks.
He did. Fuck off.
They're not even that nice. I'd rather have an Aston. If any of you are buying.
To defect, right, do you have to do like an application form or?
We can just, we'll talk about this up.
All right, perfect.
It's got to be a 7.
7, fair enough.
Sure.
Cultural insensitivity.
The SUM system.
The SUM system, yeah. I can probably play all of these at once. As God is my witness, I didn't know that would work together as well as it did.
Pretty good.
I feel like it's worse than last night.
It definitely is. It's the most racist one.
So much worse. Well, because the first one was like pure like, admission, isn't it? No, what's the other one?
Omission. Yeah.
So good.
It omitted the fuck out of shit.
Yeah. This one is actively mean to like half the planet.
I feel like we've got to go into the punitive zone of like calling Daniel Kaluuya a boy on like someone should have called that. And that shit you brought up, Dev, about the fucking lighting as well. You're so right. Like
it's just like not even just like within the actual script of the movie, but within the technical creation of the movie, they were racist towards Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
8,
which I can
9?
allege.
I'll do an 8, I think.
Cool.
Which puts it on par with, I think, Live and Let Die.
Let's give us some room to go up.
Unprovoked violence, though. I think this. I mean, what is he?
Again, low.
Yeah, he blows up James Bond, but he was shooting at him. That's provoked.
Yeah, he beats up some goons, but they were attacking him.
He does. The invisibilization of ableism in our discourses. I completely forgot that he pulls a gun on like disabled civilians for no reason.
That very beautiful and intelligent woman in the front row who I've never met before is very correct.
You should try meeting her. I've been dating her for a while. She's lovely. 3 then? 4? I don't know. How do we
nice.
like what?
She's nice. I've met her.
Yeah.
She's a good lass.
I feel like I don't know. Is there anything else other than pulling a gun on disabled people?
I mean, he does beat the shit out of the.
What?
You're not allowed to fucking interrupt me. I half tolerate it from them.
The mum thing is accidental. We don't count those. Like, it's not.
Yeah, that's not. The movie isn't asking us to endorse that violence as like funny or ethical,
yes.
right? Yeah.
So.
Cool. 3?
3, yeah.
3. It's always the low one unless it isn't, and then it's usually like.
Danger Diabolic was 7 because of all the murders he did. All right.
Misogyny.
Misogyny.
Don't woo that.
I thought the
have
cheer
that
line.
motherfucker flensed.
Spotlight, right?
Some of you are going to laugh when you Google flensing.
Having the kids interrupt M's briefings.
Oh, it fucking sucks. And the whole, like, new broom sexism thing, like, in GoldenEye, if you take that as a bellwether of British culture, it sucked then. To do it in 2011, to be like, oh, we're woke and soy now because there's women in charge, and we're in touch with our feelings. It's fucking terrible. Like,
dialogue is a weapon of choice.
Dialogue is our weapon. At the very least, that puts it up in the realm of, like, 5, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so too. And also the fact that Rosamund Pike just, like, obviously falls in love with him.
Doesn't really do anything else. Like, what is the rest of her
He's
character?
revived
you
by
know?
a kiss.
Does she have any hopes, dreams that we know of?
There. Could we call that leakage?
It's about it. I think.
Yeah, does she have any...
Just purely there to be, like, fall in love with Johnny English at the end.
Six. Death.
Death.
All right.
Death.
6 and an optional death penalty.
Anything above 5 is death penalty, as far as I'm concerned.
Are we establishing that as a zone then?
Sure.
Okay.
That gives us a total score of 24.
It is
pretty
much
bad.
worse than last
They're
night.
getting worse.
They're getting worse.
It's plausible. I think, I'm not sure if this is going to be like a sort of a hump in the curve, or if it's going to go straight down, you know? Like, I don't know.
I mean, although Johnny English faring better than Austin Powers, it must be said.
That's, yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, that's plausible to
But
me.
worse than Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle was a 15. It was practically perfect.
Yeah. In hindsight, that movie was great. Don't go back and look.
Honestly, don't remember a fucking thing about that
Also
movie.
pretty racist against Asians. Anyway.
We all have, like, awards as well.
We do.
We mentioned Kronstein earlier on.
Yeah,
Who the
that's
fuck was that to?
To the guy who jumps off the burning boat to jump onto a platform to fight Johnny English.
God, yes. Hell yes.
That is going above and beyond.
Yeah.
He could have just swum away. That probably would have been cleverer, actually. I feel like I also want to give another Constantine Rosette to the goon who stole the stewardess's clothes.
Yes.
Because that's like a hell of a gambit. Like,
Certainly,
That
yeah.
is going above and beyond.
Yeah, transitioning for the bit. I mean, yeah, 2
Pretty good.
Kronsteins.
Hey, if the bit's good enough.
I kind of want to give Daniel Kaluuya a Goodnight Cross. Just
Absolutely. I feel like, what else
Fully.
did we invent the Goodnight Cross?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, that's what it's for.
For going above and beyond.
Ooh, were there any from yesterday? We forgot to...
I don't remember that
yesterday.
movie. I
Remember a
don't.
single fucking thing, I'm afraid.
Don't worry about
I
it.
hit myself on the head with a big podcasting hammer.
Yeah. Vote now on your phones. I don't care.
Okay. I did that specifically because you said to me there was one you wanted to give
And
it to.
I don't remember now.
Okay.
What a tangled web
To be
we
fair,
weave.
you told me who it was, and I don't remember either. So
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
Really,
Speaking of Kronstein Rosettes and Goodnight Crosses, after this, there will be a bar open until 10, which gives you 40 minutes of drinking time, and we will be selling posters. This poster, which fucks. We will be signing posters. We will be selling little pin badges of the Kronstein Rosette and Goodnight Cross. If you want us to sign those, they're really small, but we'll try.
Tough to do. Tough.
If you want to just hang out, come take a picture with us, say hi. This is applicable to all of you here, none of you on the live stream, unless you can make it to Conway Hall in the next, hour.
You got to be fast. And if you can make it to Conway Hall in the next hour, why the fuck are you watching live? What's wrong
Rowan.
with you?
Yeah.
What have you got, social anxiety? Half of these fuckers have got social anxiety. I've got social anxiety. Biggest cheer of the night for social anxiety.
But yeah, go and get a drink afterwards, come and meet us, come and say hi. We will sign stuff for you. We've signed some interesting stuff. We've signed, disability cards. We've signed, what
I
else?
think that's my favorite thing that we've signed is the person who asked us to sign their packet of estrogen. That was really special.
That's pretty good. I don't know. The 2 guys yesterday in the custom hench outfits that asked us to sign a
Yeah,
bag
that
of.
was cool.
Magnificent.
Really funny,
yeah.
really
we
good.
signed a rank slide. I mean, you guys we have people
Strange people.
everywhere, right? And I can't stress this enough. You guys are the best, genuinely. And to have a crowd that's this good and this queer and this trans in such straightened times as these is such a tonic for us, hopefully for all of you as well. And we hope to repay you with content, you know?
To have this crowd in the heart of Keir Starmer's constituency.
Keir fucking Starmer. right here, baby. We're not fucking going anywhere.
That's right. We're here tomorrow night. You can still buy
That's it,
tickets.
yeah.
KillJamesBond.com
After that, we are going. We're out of here. After
/live. Any closing remarks? My cherished co-hosts and friends?
I'll save it for tomorrow. I'll save the mushy stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we'll do the mushy stuff.
In that
tomorrow.
case, it only remains for me to say, we have been Kill James Bond. Thank you so much for coming out. Good night.
These things are falling down.